Hey, greetings, guys. What's going on? Gonna give a kind of final thoughts thing on the whole net neutrality bullshit that's been really exaggerated. And you can always tell when something is exaggerated to this point. There's usually some ulterior motives that others may have to making it so mainstream, or there's money coming from places that are a bit sketchy, like Google, for example, or Facebook, trying to say they support net neutrality. Like, shut the fuck up. You guys don't support freedom. But anyway. I'm not necessarily completely against net neutrality, but yes, it does look like the FCC has voted it out, and it's going to be gone maybe within the next year, as soon as all the court shit goes through and all the paperwork. So net neutrality is more than likely going to be kicked out the door, thrown in the garbage or whatever. I mean, we only got it in 2015, and the internet seemed to work fine before then. A lot of people have concerns that in the future the internet service providers will start fast tracking some websites, slowing down others, their competitors maybe, or people they don't like, offering maybe like different packages where you're only able to access certain websites and you pay for each website or some shit. That's what people are worried about. And I mean, if that were to happen, it would take a long time for something like that to happen, and I bet regulations would already come back into play at that point. Now, the only reason that is a threat in the first place is because these ISP companies have monopolies all over the damn place. There's only a couple of them, like AT&T, Verizon, Comcast, that's all I can think of at the moment. But yeah, those and plus a couple others, they have monopolies. I think it's over like 100 million Americans only have access to one type of ISP or one company. So they have monopoly. They have no choice. If you want internet, you gotta pay for Comcast. You want internet, you gotta use AT&T. You want internet, you gotta use Xfinity or whatnot. I happen to pay for Xfinity. So, and the only reason they have these monopolies is because they're state given. We, as taxpayers, or I guess the government takes our money, so they take our money and then they give it to the ISP companies to build fiber optic lines, and all sorts. I think it was in the late 80s or early 90s we gave them hundreds of billions of dollars to put in these fiber optic lines. I think at the time the idea was we wanted to become the world leader in fiber optics. And, I guess that kind of makes sense. But then you got to ask, okay, what exactly were we paying these ISPs for? I think I talked to a couple people about it, and it's like, well, we're paying for their lines. And it's like, well, essentially we paid for the lines in the first place. It's not like they put in their lines and we're using them. It's not like a private bridge. It's like the taxpayers paid for the bridge, then they're charged $10 to go over the bridge every time. It's like, what's the point of building the bridge with our money if you're gonna make us pay for everything anyway, or at least pay double? Because someone's getting a profit motive. Those people are making a fuck ton of money, especially the CEOs and whatnot, and now they're gobbling up everything. Those internet service companies, man, they're fucked up. A lot of them have ties to the media, ties to social networking. They're huge umbrella corporations, essentially, that have like some of double-digit subsidiaries under them or owned by certain people, and it's kind of fucked up. And this has been going on for too long. These monopolies, essentially, they're fucking mega corporations. They're owning everything. It's not right. So yes, they do happen to have monopolies in different parts of the states where certain people only have access to one monopoly. So when you mix a monopoly with government regulation, that's not exactly a good picture you're painting there. How it should be is, well, first off, we should stop subsidizing these goddamn companies. Stop giving them state-given monopolies. Maybe break them up a bit, deny a few mergers. That's how we should do it. Like, I don't think look at Disney and Fox are owned. Now, Disney just bought Fox, for example. I don't know, they're not internet service providers, but it's like, and it's another example. Disney is fucking gonna own everything. Now, yes, some people may be happy. They own the X-Men, and they've got what else? The X-Men and Fantastic Four. So I guess those are back in the Marvel pool, which sure could be kind of cool. They could have some sort of team up in the future. But anyway, you got to look at the bigger picture. They're gonna own all your entertainment is essentially gonna come out of Disney, and they're not making exactly great movies. Movies are usually great when they're edgy and kind of like lean to one side of a radical or another, like not necessarily like extreme, but they'll be like more what's the word? I guess innovative, but I'm thinking of like offhand scripting. Uh, Fuck, I can't think of the word. I'm not gonna ponder on it for too long. But yeah, like movies that are more like on the go, kind of like I'm trying to think of the word still. Anyway, when actors are able to do more so what they want, they have more leeway. But a lot of times, what huge corporations are doing now, like especially entertainment industry, especially Disney, like all their fucking Marvel movies, even the DC movies. Come on, we gotta say that too. They're very mainstream. They're out there to appeal to the normies. They're not made to appeal the original fans or be like any of the craziness of the comics doesn't really get incorporated. They've got this huge new universe they're trying to make, and it's just so fucking PC and lamestream. And I mean, some of the movies better than others, but they're slowly degrading over time. No matter how many millions of dollars they pump into it, they seem or the best actors they choose, they seem to always come out slightly mediocre at best. The villains aren't very well played out. The battle scenes are a bit and it's just there's nothing there. There's nothing to grab onto. Like there's no more like Punisher movies out there, shit like that. The Deadpool movie was alright, but you gotta get like those. Honestly, superhero movies should be R-rated. Usually they tend to be better when they are. As soon as you see that R rating, you're like, oh, that one might be more interesting. But yeah, I'm ranting a little bit. The ISP companies, back to them, do have monopolies in several states, or pretty much all the states. I couldn't give you a region, which one, but I do remember seeing something that said like 100 million Americans only have access to one. So, overall, you gotta realize that these ISP companies are directly tied to our government. They're feeding them all of your data, especially the NSA. They're collecting it all in their new fucking fancy storage facilities in like Utah and shit. So, all of your data is being collected by these ISP companies, and here you are bitching about net neutrality. That's disappointing. That's very disappointing to see all these people ignore the big. I'm more concerned with them collecting all of our data and storing it for possibly an indefinite amount of time to bring up whenever they need, and have all these back doors into your computers and phones and turning on your webcams. And there's so many leaks out there that we know what's going on. At least we should. I know the mainstream media doesn't cover it much. You're never going to see this sort of shit scrolling through your Facebook feed. That's for damn sure. So, yeah, don't worry about it too much. Wait and see what happens. In the meantime, I would protest the ISP monopolies and stop our government specifically from funding them. Try and destroy that monopoly, maybe bring in some competition, maybe even lower prices. That would be nice, but we'll see. So in the meantime, worry about that shit. Stop getting your panties all screwed up from net neutrality. Don't think it's that big of a deal. Yeah, that's all I got for the meantime, but look into it, people. I'm trying to do the same. I honestly, before all this net neutrality shit happened, I had no idea what net neutrality even fucking was. But yeah, now people are saying that basically the Earth's gonna explode if this thing gets taken out. And it's already taken out, and the Earth is still fine. I'm still able to browse the internet. Things haven't died yet, so we gotta just wait and see what happens. Anyway, that's all for now. Peace.